This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. It's fun to me!
It's fun to me!
Fuck you, man.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
First dibs. I'm just kidding. So,
but we are glad to be back in San Jose, as we always are each year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
it's like great out here. It's awesome, and things are just going to start ramping up.
Yeah, I mean, we're on like Thursday, day 0, recording this right now, but we are just like so very much looking forward to all the grits that anime has to offer, from it's like political side, from like Cthulhu for President, to like anime music videos, to anime hell, like hentai AMVs. It's like, and also I want to see what the crazy bastards at Society for the Preservation of Gen 1 Pokemon have for us this year.
Yep.
So there's all sorts of great stuff that we got to look forward to. And in 5 days from now, I'll just look and go, where did it all go? Where did it all go?
Exactly. Oh, what do you have for us today?
Okay, well, today is another buried treasure of manga, and it's honestly kind of really buried compared to years past, in the sense that after Viz Media published this, they couldn't publish it again because they violated some very sacred taboos with their Japanese publishers, and that would be 4 Shojo stories. Why 4? Because that's all they could get for this volume, apparently. But to give you an idea of why a manga volume would be titled 4 Shojo stories, I take you back in time, way back in time to the year known as 1996, when most manga was published in the flip format, not just a flip format, but in a serialized monthly pamphlet as well. So series such as Blade of the Immortal, Gunsmith Cats, Battle Angel Alita, and Ranma 1/2 thrived in this format. That was basically like how most of these series were. No, not most. All of these series were delivered. Back in the day. However, 4 Shojo stories is an outlier even by those standards, because the majority of the series that were published, in monthly serialized pamphlets, were done to comic shops as well, which basically meant that they had to aim towards a male, an older or younger male audience. Now, 4 Shojo stories is unique in the sense that this is as the title implies, this is shoujo manga aimed at girls. And to give you an idea of the era that this volume is being published in, the subtitle is "It's Not Just Girl Stuff Anymore."
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, this publishing this story, this anthology, it's like I said, it's kind of completely unlike a lot of stuff that was being published at the time, and to be honest, it's really kind of unique, compared to most shoujo manga as well, which is aimed at younger girls. It's and kind of thrives on over the top drama. I mean, I'm generalizing here because I'm a guy, and you probably already realize from a lot of the manga that I review on the site that shoujo manga isn't necessarily my focus. But 4 Shoujo stories was introduced to me by a good friend, thanks Tara. I wanted to see what this is about, and it comes from us from one of manga's most respected translators and localizers, Rachel Thorne, who's not only worked on the latter half of Nashika: The Valley of Wind, but is also currently working with Fantagraphics on their titles such as Wandering Sun, Nijigahara Holograph, and Otherworld Barbara, and Rachel is also responsible for the translation and localization of the stories in 4 Shoujo stories as well. Now, if by some chance you pick up this long out of print volume and realize wait, Jason, why is all this credited to a Matt Thorne? Then I would just say to she transitioned. There you go. So, but 4 Shoujo stories, basically, it's like I say, it was originally published in 1996, which 23 years ago. Like God, that makes me feel old, so old. But it generally does hold up today. I mean, as an anthology, not all the stories are stellar, but all of them are worth reading, and one of them is really it's like quite good. I mean, arguably worth paying whatever inflated price you can get for this volume. Now, these stories are Promise by Keiko Nishi, Since You've Been Gone by Keiko Nishi, They Were 11 by Moto Hagio, and The Changeling by Shiho Sato. Now, as far as these stories go, Keiko Nishi, with her bookending stories, basically kind of is carrying the flag for stories aimed at your average not teenage shoujo manga here, but older, arguably older than female reader. It's because Promise basically involves a supernatural or arguably magical realistic story about a girl who has to deal with her mother getting remarried to the father of one of her classmates, who is very eager to get to know her, and as she has to deal with this, she also meets this guy who who is around her whenever she skips class and whatnot, and she's figuring out what's this guy doing here, what's his deal. But she eventually gets to know him and enjoys his company, but then she realizes that, oh well, maybe you're not the guy I thought you were. Maybe you're kind of the supernatural reincarnation of my dead died in childbirth brother. Weird, huh? But that's kind of how crazy shoujo manga can get, in parts. And Promise is interesting, just in how it leverages that supernatural or magical realistic aspect to to tell a story about this girl who eventually comes to terms with with not only her mother's actions to remarry, but also just find her own happiness in life as well. It's a good start to the volume, and Since You've Been Gone, which closes out the story, the volume, is also interesting, but it's also really bittersweet, arguably kind of dark, in the sense that it's about a teacher who is having a relationship with a girl who was the age of one of his students, and he's doing this because he just can't relate to his wife anymore. And while they're having this affair, this earthquake happens, and he's having to deal with his affairs, needs, and his wife is having to deal with trying to find the one thing that mattered from their relationship in their apartment. It's a very bittersweet kind of dark story, especially in the end, because the end frames the teacher's decision as kind of the right thing to do, but it also kind of leaves it open for a day late dollar short type thing as well. So it's really interesting. I mean, it's these stories by Nishi do a good job of showing you the emotional, lyrical, kind of esoteric structure of shoujo manga. Basically, it's focusing more on the emotions rather than actual plot developments. But the stories are actually are interesting. They make good good bookends for the anthology itself. Then you get into the two stories that make up its middle, and wow, here's the good stuff here, because They Were 11 by Moto Hagio is fantastic. It is It's not hard science fiction, but it's really good science fiction. It's one of Hagio's most popular stories, and I can say this because it was adapted into an anime. No, you don't make animes out of non-popular stories. Fight me on this. Moving on, but They Were 11 is a good science fiction story that basically focuses on a future where it's like the elite from all aspects of the universe are taking tests in order to prove themselves worthy of being the elites of their respective planets and star systems, and while the first legs of these tests are basically just written stuff. The real meat of it comes when in their third stage, when they're basically thrown onto some kind of ecosystem and told to survive. In this case, for the characters that we follow in They Were 11, they're tossed onto a spaceship and told survive for 53 days and you pass. If you can't make it before then, just press the button and the Galactic Federation will come get you. So, that's sounds simple enough. I mean, this group of 10 people, they just got to survive for 53 days, and hey, everything's good. They've got their future's assured for them. Problem is that faster than you could say Kobayashi Maru, things start to go wrong, because as soon as this group of 10 lands on their spaceship, they wind up dealing with a really big problem. The fact that while they were supposed to be 10 people on this ship, 11 people showed up. So everyone's wondering, wait, why are there 10 people? Why are there 11 people here? There's supposed to be 10 people here. Who's the one person who's not supposed to be here? And before they can do that, the bombs start going off. So it's basically a story of a crew trying to survive against all odds, realizing that one of us may be a traitor, and we have to figure out who. The person who is in the position to try and best figure out this, Tada, who has supreme powers of intuition, he's not really able to do this, and the decision easily falls upon him. But there's also Frohl, the guy who was really girly by most conventional standards, but also is really foul mouthed and and bitchy about a lot of things. I mean, Hagio does a good job of conveying a lot of doing a lot of world building in the course of this story. It's establishing lots of different species within this galaxy, from the cyborg who is trying to find ways, who's basically been gifted with this process to help extend his civilization's life, to the scaled human who or scaled humanoid who is a mutant by his race's standards, but is able to live a life much longer than most other people would normally live. Then there's the hunter who's scarred all over his body, the king who is going through this thing in order to prove that he's worthy of leadership. Some of these characters don't get all the same level of characterization, but there's lots of the story does throw lots of interesting stuff along the way. Such as lots of interesting complications, such as the conductive ivy which powers the ship they're stuck on, all the guns that people have come across. Oh, and the fact that Tada seems to know everything about this ship, even though he can't quite remember being there. They Were 11 it's easily the highlight of this volume. It's a really clever, well developed science fiction story about just that takes not only the who can you trust setup, and and not only runs with it, but also just it forces that tension, but also forces its characters to to decide who can they trust in order to in order to beat this test. It's like, I mean, and there's also like lots of interesting bits about it's like about what constitutes gender. It's like, and how each people handle their own, like what matters to them is like how human they are. It's like, and it's really good. I mean, it's like Hagio goes full tilt into the drama. It's like just drawing characters like like with exaggerated like actions, like like with like fuming like sharp teeth, or even like super deformed in some cases. It's like she understands that this is not like a kind of story that needs to be told with restraint. It's like and dignity. She lets the drama run rampant over the story, and it is all the better for that. Especially in the end when you find out exactly what's going on and whether or not there was actually an 11th person here. Like I said, it was easily the highlight of the volume. Now it's not to say that all the other stories were bad by comparison, but also the other final story I want to talk about, The Changes by Shiho Sato. It's it really could have benefited if she had she had followed Hagio's example of letting the drama run rampant over the story, because it's about a woman named Lynn who's working with her AI partner on a ship, Ms, to investigate a signal from a seed colony on Earth. It's basically Earth's sent out all these seed colonies years ago to foster new life in the cosmos, and this message eventually came back years later, saying that this one colony, hey, we're getting along all right. Oh, but we're also going to stage a revolt against our unjust oppressors as well. And so Lynn is the one who's tasked with investigating this, and she finds out that apparently this is a colony of mutants, ostensibly, who eventually overthrew their quote unquote noble race oppressors. It's after they realized that they were terrible, they were terrible people, and that we had a right to be equal and to live lives on the same level as them. So, but as Lynn goes along, I mean, it's the initial story is really ticks all the right boxes. I mean, hey, it's the noble race were just terrible people, and these people overthrew them. Hey, case closed. This is a really great series of people to live have found their own niche in the cosmos. But then when she gets to know the leader of the revolt, a guy named Sephiroth. No, not Sephiroth. Sephiroth. Yeah, that drove me nuts in this story as well. Sephiroth Daran, and how he how he went into stasis for 70 years after the revolt was thrown, after the member of the noble race, the girl that he was raising, eventually had her own drama crisis and wound up killing herself over his over his protests. Well, there's more going on there than you'd think, and while the results are kind of interesting, it's the Changeling is much more restrained than They Were 11. It's Sato is it's very matter of fact, almost procedural in telling you about how things eventually shook out. It's in this colony, and I think that the end results were interesting enough. It's coming after something They Were 11 in this anthology is just a bit disappointing. I mean, not bad, but just kind of dry to be honest. And well, it's like while I really liked like the anthology as a whole, the reason we didn't get more is because while the majority of manga in Japan is initially published as weekly anthologies, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever anthologies, publishing them in anthology format without the permission of the creators, that's a big no. Because as I heard, apparently like when Viz decided to put Nishi, Hagio, and Sato in one volume, Japan, or Shueisha Shogokan really basically said, "Oh, no, don't do that. That's bad." It's like you can't do that unless you negotiate with them like to do this as well. And that's why Four Shojo Stories is one of the most rare anthologies you can pick up these days. I mean, I consider myself lucky to have gotten this from a third party seller on Amazon for like $45. Keep in mind that the this is used, and the cover price is $17. So there you go. Is it worth picking this up? Well, considering that's like new volumes can probably run you upwards of $100 or more. Yeah, I'd say it is. I mean, it's like, and the used volume I got is still in relatively good condition. So I mean, yeah, it's like I said, like I said, this is probably like the most buried treasure I'm going to talk about in this series, because it's never been reprinted, never will be reprinted, and the only way you're going to be able to read these stories is by buying this volume, and it's definitely not going to cost you cover price. So there you go. It's disappointing, but so if you do see this volume on sale, I do think it's worth picking up. And to be honest, I kind of wish we would see more shoujo like this, or more like crazy science fiction like shoujo like that Hagio delivers, because she does that great. I mean, I loved what she did in this. I loved her Parasite story and her Otherworld Barbara, and I should probably do a podcast on her general stuff as well, because she is like one of the absolute legends of manga, period. So, but yeah, it's like Four Shojo Stories. Yeah, it's like it's going to cost you, but I think it's kind of worth picking up. So John, so I know you've been listening to all this. Does any of this like emotional science fiction crazy stuff like tickle your fancy or whatnot?
It seems pretty good. I enjoy a good set of anthologies, and I think that we should, and maybe even for other manga, you might be able to cover some other anthologies as well. If they're done by the people you like. But I think that's it's interesting. Because I think that this can kind of expand out. I love short story. I love the form of short stories. So I think that and somebody may be like, oh, I have to be kind of a hardcore manga, to a collector in order to pay that much for it. But you're giving it a good recommend, and like even used, you're like, hey. And by the way, that volume looks pretty nice to me. Actually, outside of a little bit of curving on it, it looks like a really nice volume.
Yeah, it's like I think the volume, like the rating on Amazon I got when I bought this used, was like used good. So. Oh yeah,
hey, you don't have to go to like excellent or whatever the top rating is. That's not the top rating for it, But like I said, I think that anything that's and I just love anthology stories anyway. Some of my favorite anthology collections are from Stephen King.
Yeah.
So, and that's just straight up novels, right?
Favorite as in like most terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. He has that as well.
Oh God! Don't ask me about Night Shift. God damn it.
Yeah. But there, I mean, everything falls in the line, like even, going to like things like the Twilight Zone and things like that. But, think of these, Rumiko Takahashi had a whole bunch of short stories that she did.
Roomic Theater.
Roomic Theater, exactly. So, you've got to think of these in those terms. So, even if maybe you're not a fan, like, okay, well, I may not spend it for that. You may spend it for the fact that you don't have to read 50 volumes to get a story done. It's just a nice, quick, short story. That's good.
Yeah, I guess the problem is that there's not really a lot of while manga is published as an anthology. I mean, Weekly Shonen Jump, the most popular comic book magazine in the world, is a weekly anthology.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like when it comes down to being published in a volume itself, it's usually sorted out by the writers themselves, by the creators themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, four Shojo stories. The reason it exists is because the creators, the editors at Viz basically realized, okay, maybe we can get away with asking for permission, like asking for permission rather than asking for forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah.
And apparently that was not the case.
Yeah. Well, I would say that in this case, in this day and age where people follow franchises really hard, when it comes to manga, it's like, oh, I'm going to read that.
I'm going to read this story from this creator.
Yeah, My Hero Academia. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying like people are going to read this story all the way, as far as it'll take me. It's good to have stories that are like this.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like I'd like more like crazy science fiction like shoujo stories like from Hagio. It's like, I still need to finish reading Otherworld Barbara, which the first volume, like after I got past that original like what the fuck is going on here chapter, and then realized, oh, this is what's going on, and oh my God, she has not lost a step in all these years. So,
all right, well, hey, do you know what you're going to talk about next time?
Oh, I think I had an idea, but it's escaping me right now. So I guess everyone will just be surprised. And hey, it's like I know that you'll be getting this after Fanime, but I hope everyone had a great time at Fanime because we're talking about this just before we're about to dive into it, before we're about to get our badges, in fact. Mm-hmm. So there you go. It's like, so hey, enjoy the con. Well, I hope you enjoyed the con because I'm sure I did. Like
because you're speaking to the past.
Yes, I'm speaking
While
to the
we
past.
are here in the present, you're speaking to the past.
Because good Lord, I don't want to add sort of disclaimer when I post this podcast to say, oh my God, this Funimation was terrible and it was the 25th anniversary. Oh God. But no, it's like I'm fully expecting this to be like another fantastic year at the convention.
All right.
But what holds in 2 weeks' time, who knows?
All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right. Laters.